Okay, good evening, everyone. Um, good evening, good evening, good evening. You're welcome. I wouldn't want to take much of our time. The class is supposed to be for just an hour, and we are just supposed to file a writ of summons, go through the steps, and then we'll take our questions inside the group because I have other engagements once it's 7:50. So let me turn on my camera so that you guys can see me, so that it doesn't look like I'm not all right. Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday to us all. This class is being recorded and we will share it with us inside the group for those who maybe have attended or those who could not attend. We have our support staff here. Her name is Amara. She will be the one to be taking some of the questions. You can ask her the questions and maybe, okay, like I'm going to be instructing that all our questions will be dropped inside the group for the benefit of those who may not have attended the class. So I will urge everyone to just pay attention. I will run through the process and then we'll get through it. And I indulge everyone to kindly help me mute their mics so that this recording is going to be quite straight, and so that it should be, sorry, I'm trying to do something at the same time. Okay, so that this recording can be clear for others who may not were not able to attend the class for today. So let's go. Now, this is someone's legal mail. I'm using a lawyer's legal mail for this. And this is the learning environment. So I would repeat this step again, and the URL for the learning environment is learning.courts.gov.ng. Why the proper environment for filing is efiling.courts.gov.ng. Please don't mix it. They are two different things. The real or the live environment where we file our cases is efiling.courts.gov.ng. But I'm going to be using the learning environment. And here we go. When you get to the learning environment, you put in your legal mail and then your password, and it takes you to this page where you click on next. And of course, once it takes you to this page, please don't click on next. Click on skip setup, because you dealing with Microsoft Authenticator is an extra layer of protection if you want to. But I believe that for lawyers who are quite busy, may not be able to do all of this protection. So you skip setup, you click on it, and it takes you to this page, and then you sign in. Fine. So there are two things here before we start to file a new case. If you are under a chambers, make sure you change the dashboard to the chambers where you are, so that the principal and the other counsel in the law firm can have access to your case file. So let's say this case we want to file now. The lawyer decides that he wants to file it into the law firm's dashboard. All you need to do is to click on the law firm's dashboard, and it takes you to that dashboard, not your own dashboard as a lawyer. That is where you begin to file your new case. You click on your new case, file new case, and then you pick your first instance, and you begin to pick the case information. So we are picking our Delta State High Court. Then let's do Asaba Division. And there was a case type. Today we're dealing with civil and writ of summons. Next time we'll deal with other types of um cases. So writ of summons. Now the comment space is usually for cases that have already been initiated. You have, maybe there is a case already in court one, and maybe you're bringing a sister case that you would need to consolidate. You need to state it here clearly that this case has a sister case in suit number that. That is all you need to state here. So let me type it. This case has a sister case in suit number DTHC slash ASB slash CV slash 10 slash 2025. You don't necessarily need to state the parties and you don't necessarily need to state the court. Because once this suit number is seen, what happens is that at the point of assignment, this case will be called upon and then the court where it's assigned to will be shown. So you don't need to state all that. But if you want to go overboard, you can do all of that. But in this case now we're filing today, there is no sister case. So you need to click on check this button and you confirm that all your documents are there and then you click on next. Now, the next thing is for you to pick the parties. So in the area of parties, you need to pick the claimant first before you pick the defendant. In this aspect, if the plaintiff is only one, you need to confirm if it is a person or a corporate body or a government. I do not want to lay too much emphasis on all of this, but I'm just going to state it as clear as it is so that it will be easy for those who are watching the video to get it straight. So if it is one person or one corporate or one government, you pick. But if your parties are more than one, you are expected to click on group of parties and then you put the name of the first party and the next. So in this case now, we have, let's say, one person, two persons and one government, or two persons and one corporate for the claimant. So I would do Mr. Tom Badmos and two others, right? And then you now come here to pick. In this particular instance, now we have two persons and one corporate. Look at this. Only alphanumeric space and ampersand are allowed. What it's telling me now is that this dot here is not supposed to be there. So I need to remove it. Once you remove it, that red write-up is off. Now I've picked two persons and one corporate. That makes it 3. Then I click on add. As soon as I'm done adding, I will have to toggle and also add for the defendant. So let's say our defendant is also a group. In this instance, it's going to be a person and a government. So I would now have to put, let's say, Delta States. Okay, let's use a ministry. Ministry of Science and Tech and another. The another is I usually type it in the short form. So I'm going to now pick the person and the government. This aspect is very important. Now, there are instances, I didn't want to go over this, but I have to do this. There are instances where the claimant who is filing the case forgets that the government does not pay and puts the government on that person. You figure out that when the defendant wants to file or wants to gain access to the case, the defendant will be asked to pay. So please, once you're filing the case as a claimant, make sure you pick the parties appropriately, select their titles appropriately. As soon as that is done, you can click on add. Now, all you need to do now is to come to each of the parties and then you begin to add their names. So I'm going to do a copy and paste here because this is person. So, and also be sure of looking at this once you have more than one person. So you see, you have person, and corporate. So I'm going to put the two first persons, their names. Now we have Mr. Tom. Badmos is his surname, so I have to cut it and put it at his last name. Now, if he has a middle name, good and fine, you fill in his middle name. But be conscious of filling the details that are asterisk, the buttons that are asterisk. Please, you have to fill them. The ones that are not asterisk, you don't need to bother yourself about them. You don't worry about it. Now, the address is usually the address for service. The address for the claimant is usually the address of the counsel who is filing the case for the claimant. So you will now put the address for the claimant's counsel. So let me do a plot 10. ABC Road. Okay, so I like to write in long form. ABC Road, Asaba. Then you come, the country is already selected. Then all you need to do is to click and pick your state. Now, the second person, you now click on it. Now, be conscious of this. There is a button that has a party representation. So if you are not representing maybe the second person, you don't need to click on it. But if you are the counsel who is representing all the parties, you have to toggle this on. You click on this and then you pick the name of the second party. So Mr. Black White. So his name is Mr. Black White. And the address for service is also the same because the counsel is representing the same person. And you pick your state. That's it. And then you come to your corporate body. You come to your corporate body and select. So this is tech firm. So you see the one for corporate now is having only one name. Only one name because it's a corporate body. Azteca Tech Firm Limited. Then the address for service, the same address for service for the claimant counsel. And then you pick your state. Now you come back to your defendants and then you begin to put in the names of the defendants. So if the defendants are more than 10, you have to pick them one after the other and put. So this one is for the person. So who is this person? Engineer Smith Gold. Okay. Thompson. And the address for service in this instance would be the address for service for each of the parties for the defendant. Please don't forget each of the parties for the defendant. So let's say this is number 10. So I'm picking number 11, Thompson Street of Panam Road. And this is Asaba. Okay, I'm supposed to write this Asaba, right? And then I pick the state. So this is the state. And you come to the government. Remember, the government was the first party. So I have to just copy this Ministry of Science and Tech and then paste it here. And the State Secretariat, Miriam Marban Ida Way Asaba. And I would also toggle on the state. So once you're done filling in the details, please always make sure you cross-check them to be sure that all your parties, their names are properly typed, their addresses for service are properly typed. Remember, for the defendant's address for service is the personal address of each of the defendants. That is what you should do. And after you must have done that and checked, you click on your next button. Okay, so as soon as you click on your next button, the next space or the next page is for us to add our documents that we want to file. So we have the spaces for the mandatory documents and for additional documents. So in the real environment, what you have as mandatory documents are 3: the writ of summons, statement of claim, and I think witness statement on oath. But in this aspect, we had other documents that were added. Now, one of the things that we need to take note of is this. Before we add these documents, we need to do something, which is us having our documents properly named. Now, look at this. Each of the documents have the name and the title of the document. The writ of summons is writ of summons, written statement on oath. Let's assume you have more than one witness or one written statement on oath. You need to state whose witness statement on oath, if it's the claimant or the first witness and all that. So you need to state them properly by naming them properly, by naming the documents properly. So we are going to be adding the documents, and then we'll click on writ of summons. As soon as we click on writ of summons, if you watch, this browse file is not highlighted. The next button is not highlighted. What does it mean? Who is the document for? You now need to pick which of the claimants the document is for. So this is a space where you would add if you are the one representing either the first, second, third claimant or all of them. So we are representing all of them. We check them and then we'll browse our file to pick our documents. So it takes us to our laptop. You need to have a folder where you create them. In this case, I have filed this process before, so that's why it took me exactly to this folder. So what do we want to pick? Our writ of summons. Some people can also change the name to claimant's writ of summons, right? If you want to. So, but writ of summons is okay. You click on writ of summons, you open it, you make sure that it loads. This has to load, and you need to see it here to be sure that it has loaded. So the next document on the list is your statement of claim. You pick who the document is for, and you browse your file, and then you pick your statement of claim. Well titled, and it has loaded. Now, most times, when you're loading and maybe your network is bad, if it doesn't, just give it time for it to load and make sure it enters into the system just like this. If it doesn't, you can delete it and add it again so that you'll be sure that your documents have loaded. Then list of documents relied upon at the time of trial. So this is your list of documents. You would have to go and pick it. We have list of documents here. List of documents is here. And then it has loaded. The network is quite cool tonight, so it's loading very fast. So these other ones are not compulsory in the live environment, but we have to put them because if you don't, this next button is not going to highlight and you cannot click on it. So I need to pick this same document I had. I need to pick the same document. So the same list of documents, I'm picking the same document in this instance because of the circumstances. All right, so I'm also going to pick now witness statement on oath. Let me pick this. Okay, so witness statement on oath. So this is written statement on oath. That's the document I'll pick for it. Always make sure that the document loads and enters into your system before you pick the next one. And the last but not the least here, list of witnesses for writ of summons. So this is list of witness. In the live environment, the list of witnesses is under your additional documents, but here it's compulsory. So I would add list of witnesses and watch it. We have picked all these processes, all these documents. So what is remaining is annexure. So annexures are under additional documents. So all you need to do is to toggle on the additional documents, click on it, and then type annexures. I'm going to type annexures. Okay, so in this case, it's here, but I need to look for it. All right, so annexures to be attached to the writ. So I have a couple of lawyers who ask me that when they want to file their documents as defendants, you have to file it under annexures to be attached to it. We are also going to be doing that class later for filing as a defendant in a case, but let us focus on that for the claimant. So annexures to be attached to the writ. Because this is a writ of summons, your annexures are not yet exhibits. They are called annexures before they can be marked as exhibits in the open court. So they are under here. You browse your file and then you pick. Now on this annexure, the way your documents are listed in list of documents, you follow them in that order. So number one is the first document that you want to upload is called annexure 1. Please put the name of the document here. because it gives more clarity for the judge and every other person who is in the case. They know which document is which. So I have added, you toggle on additional documents to be sure that the document has been added. But if you are not sure, you can delete and upload it again. So you do that one by one. The same annexures, I will browse my file because I have two annexures here. So this is annexure 2. And that's it. Our documents are completely uploaded, and then our next button is already highlighted for us to get to the next level. So you click on next and you come to the space where you are to pay. Now, in the area of payment, there are some of the name of the documents that are already highlighted. You don't need to do anything on this aspect of filing fees, your service per kilo, your filing fees for your statement of claim, and all these other documents. The places you're supposed to be conscious of are these three. What are the orders that are sought that you're seeking for? What is the declaration, the number of declaration you want to make in the case, and what is your claim amount? Now, on your endorsement, it's called endorsement, right? To be submitted on the writ. Yeah. So you need to check how many orders are we asking for. You click on it and you count. If it is 2 orders, you toggle on this arrow button at the top here and it picks 2. How many declarations do you have? You click on it and you pick. Let us assume that you don't have any declaration and you have just 4 orders. And that's it. And then you have a claim amount of, let's say, 5 million. All you need to do is to click on the claim amount button and then type the number. So 5 million is 6 zeros, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it picks the amount. Remember that even if it's a billion, it's not going to be more than 10,000 naira for the claim amount. So we don't have any declaration, remember. So this amount is not going to be added. You have 4 orders sought and you are good. All you need to do is to confirm your total fee and you generate your RR number. It may look quite different in the real environment, but all you need to do is to just continue to proceed to payment because this particular case now is attached to that RR number already. So all you need to do is to use your card. Now, in this circumstance, this learning environment, the aspect of the payment is not really open. I didn't configure it before the class. So, but for the real environment, please always use your card. I'm going to use my pen in this instance. Use your card. The essence of using your card to make your payment for your cases is because as soon as you pay with your card, confirmation of payment is automatic. It is automatic. What it does is that immediately you pay, it confirms your payment immediately and assigns the suit number immediately. That is the only automated payment here. The card enables you to have your suit number immediately as soon as you pay. But you see transfer, bank transfer, you have to confirm the system, which is NJC, have to confirm. You have to send a message. They will have to confirm from the bank. If there was a payment that was made, the bank will make the confirmation before they can now toggle on and then it assigns a suit number. The same thing with the e-Naira, the same thing with the bank branch, the same thing with the remitter payment, the same thing with the wallet payment, the internet banking, and the bank account. So we advise that you use your card payment, your card payment option to pay for your cases when you want to file. And that is the end of this this filing system and style.